ओम विनायक नमस्तुभ्यं सततं मोदक प्रिय निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसंपदं लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। आञ्जनेयमतिपाटलाननं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीय विग्रहं पारिजाततरुमूलवासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं। यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम्। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकि कोकिलम्। सर्वेभ्यो नमः। We'll start with the prarthana shlokas. As we have Prajna will chant them. And Prajna.
तपस्वी वाग्विदाम्बरं नारदं परिकप्रच्छ वाल्मीकिर्मुनिपुङ्गवं कोऽन्वस्मिन् साम्प्रतं लोके गुणवान् कश्च वीर्यवान् धर्मज्ञश्च कृतज्ञश्च सत्यवाक्यो दृढव्रतः चारित्र्येण च को युक्तः सर्वभूतेषु को हितः विद्वान् कः समर्थश्च कश्चैकप्रियदर्शनः आत्मवान् को जितक्रोधो जितिमान् को न सूयकः कस्य बिभ्यति देवाश्च जातरोषस्य संयुगे एतदिच्छाम्यहं श्रोतुं परं कौतूहलं हि मे महर्षे त्वं समर्थोऽसि ज्ञातुमेवं विदं नरं श्रुत्वा चेतत्त्रिलोकज्ञो वाल्मीकिर्नारदो वचः श्रूयतामिति चामन्त्या प्रहृष्टो वाक्यमब्रवीत् बहवो दुर्लभाश्चैव एत्वया कीर्तिता गुणा मुने वक्ष्यायहं बुद्ध्वा तैर्युक्तः श्रूयतां नरः इक्ष्वाकुवंशप्रभवो रामो नाम जने श्रुतः नियतात्मा महावीर्यो धृतिमान् वशी बुद्धिमान् नीतिमान् वाग्मी श्रीमान् चतुर्निबर्हणः विपुलांशो महाबाहुः कम्बुग्रीवो महाहनुः महोरस्पो महेश्वासो गूढचतुररिन्दमः आजानुबाहुः सुशिरः सुललाटः सुविक्रमः समविभक्ताङ्गः स्निग्धवर्णप्रतापवान् पीनवक्षा विशालाक्षो लक्ष्मीवान् शुभलक्षणः धर्मज्ञः सत्यसन्धश्च प्रजानां च हिते रतः यशस्वी ज्ञानसम्पन्नः शुचिर्पश्य समाधिमान् प्रजापतिसमश्रीमान् दाता रिपुनिषोधनः रक्षिता जीवलोकस्य धर्मस्य परिरक्षितः रक्षिता स्वस्य धर्मस्य स्वजनस्य च रक्षिताः वेदाङ्गतत्त्वज्ञो धनुर्वेदेश निष्ठितः तत्त्वज्ञो स्मृतिमान् प्रतिभानवान् सर्वलोकप्रियः साधुः अधीनात्मा विचक्षणः सर्वदा विगतः सत्भिः समुद्र इव सिन्धुभिः
आर्यः सर्वसमश्चैव
सदैकप्रियदर्शनः
स च सर्वगुणोपेतः
कौसल्यानन्दवर्धनः समुद्र इव गाम्भीर्ये धैर्येण हिमवानिव
विष्णुना सदृशो वीर्ये
विष्णुना सदृशो वीर्ये
सोमवत्प्रियदर्शनः
सोमवत्प्रियदर्शनः
कालाग्निसदृशः क्रोधे
कालाग्नि सदृश क्रोधे
क्षमया पृथिवी समः
क्षमया पृथिवी समः
धनदेन समस्त्यागे
धनतेन समस्त्यागे
सत्ये धर्म इवापरः.
सत्ये धर्म इवापरः.
Uttamam. So those are the 18 and shlokas, or about 19 shlokas that we should all learn. We have been targeting for ourselves, because only then we would have understood, and we can tell others of what is Rama, what is greatness of Rama, and why is Rama remembered and worshipped even after millions of years, even though he was, as he himself claimed, an ordinary human being. Just that he was a ruler, but there were several kings' sons who have failed to keep the dynasty, and they lost it to some other dynasty, some other king, right? So an able person and perfect in all these gunas. And so at least if we can name these gunas, then at least if nothing, our vocabulary would have increased, right? As I asked in the very first day, or third class, I think, on the first Saturday, I asked, right, how do you say what is good? Oh, we tried to name some English adjectives. About 10 probably we would have said. But here we have 16 asked by Narada, and another 64 uniquely answered. I mean, 16 asked by Valmiki, another 64 answered by Narada. Imagine that vocabulary, how proud we can be that we have a vocabulary to describe 64 plus 16, about 80 positive qualities. I mean, can anybody else know 80 positive qualities? Forget 80, ask for 8 qualities in English. We'll start struggling, we'll find vocabulary, right? So here we have in just 18 shlokas, 18 and a half shlokas, we have 80 positive qualities. If we remember these 80 positive qualities, even for somebody like me, once in a while when I get into depression, if we read these, these 18 or 19 shlokas, that's it. We get all the positive energy. So for that sake, at least, for our own sake, if for nobody else's sake, for our own sake, to be positive, to keep that energy, alive all the time in us, we should memorize these 19 shlokas at the minimum, right? And as we said, as a Rishi Runa, we are indebted. We have a credit card balance of 24,000 shlokas to be repaid by us. It's a credit card balance we owe. We as Hindus, in fact, every human being owes it. At least we as Hindus born, we owe that big balance, credit card balance in us. And let us be conscious about that credit card balance and keep working on repaying it. The only way to repay it is to at least memorize it. But we are lucky that together we are able to now not only memorize and also understand it, not understand it just by line to line meaning, but from the tattva. Sarvashastrartha tattvajnaha, right? He's a tattvajna. So we also are trying to understand it from the tattva point of view, so that the meaning remains forever in our heart and mind without any doubts. So that is the intention. So last time we did till Veda Vedanga Tattvajnaha. And can anyone tell what are, okay, let us see, most of us know it, but anyway, what are those 4 Vedas? We all know it, just for the sake, Anyone, just quick.
Rigveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda.
Rig, Sama?
Yajur, Atharvana.
So normally the order goes as Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharvana Veda. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharvana Veda. Yeah, and then we said there are Vedanga. So there are Angas, Veda Angas. What are those Angas? Dhirendra ji put the video off. As soon as I asked what are Veda Angas. धीरेन्द्र जी आपने खड़क करके वीडियो ऑफ कर दिया अरे मुझे मत पूछो बोल के
नहीं, not because of that.
Then I say, okay. No, please go ahead. As you feel free. So Vedangas, who will say? Not our Pandits like Vikramji and all, but somebody else.
Siksha.
Siksha.
Kalpam.
Kalpaha.
Kalpaha. Okay.
In Sanskrit names, Kalpaha.
Jyotishya.
Siksha, Kalpa, and then Vyakaranam.
Yeah, Vyakaranam. Niruktam. Jyotishya. Chandasu.
Chanda. So Siksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana. Niruktam, Jyotisha, Chanda. So those are the 6 Vedangas. So that makes 4 and 6, 10 modules. So that is what was covered in Veda Vedanga Tattvajna. Okay, so from there we'll continue. After Veda Vedanga Tattvajna, what is the next one? Dhanurvedecha Nishtitaha. But before we continue, like always, we will start with our Adyatana Panchangam. Sharvari Nama Samvat. So today's Tithi, Adya Tithi, Sharvari Nama Samvatsare, Uttarayane, Grishmartau, Amanta Jyeshtamase, Purnimanta, Ashadhamase, Krishna Pakshe, Ashtami, till 3:28 p.m. today. After that, it will be Navami. And Sthiravasaraha, today's Nakshatram is Purva Bhadrapada, till 11:58. After that, it is Uttara Bhadrapada. And Yoga, Ayushman Yoga, till 2:23 a.m. And then followed by that Saubhagya Yoga. Then Karanam is Kaulava Karanam till 3:28 p.m. Then Taitilaha till 4:38 a.m. After that, it will be Gara. So if you saw, as we said, this was the same set last week also of Karanam. So these Karanams we repeat mostly for a few weeks, and then when the timing slightly runs overlap, then it will shift into the next cycle of 3. So that's the Panchangam. Then, so Veda Vedanga Tattvajna Dhanurvedecha Nishtitaha. That's the next quality we are going into. So Dhanurvede Nishtitaha. Nishtitaha in Dhanurveda. Dhanurvede. A in Sanskritam generally for any Akaranta Shabda, Pullinga Shabda, or Napunsakalinga Shabda, it means in. Nishtita. Nishtita means Nischayena Sthitaha. Means adequately situated in, which means perfect in. Perfect in Dhanurveda. Now what is Dhanurveda? Shastrastradi Pratipadakam Shastram Dhanurvedaha. That is the definition given. What is Dhanurveda? Shastra, Astra, Adi. So there is Shastra, there is Astra, and then there are some more ammunition used as part of warfare. Adi Pratipadakam Shastram. So this Shastram Pratipadayati. Shastra, Astradi Vishayeshu. Katham tasya upayogaha, katham tasya prayogaha iti. So that Shastram is called Dhanurvedaha. Tasmin Nishtitaha. Tasmin is in that. In that he is Nishtitaha. He is perfect in that. Samyak Tadnyata. So he is situated in it Samyak perfectly. And hence Tadnyata. He is a knower. He is aware of that. Dhanurveda. Now, what is Dhanurveda? We said it is Shastrastra Adi Pratipadikam, but there is in the other Bhashya of Shiromani, much, there is an elaborated further. Dhanurvedo Nama, Nama means Matlab, Dhanurveda ka Matlab hai, Dhanur Hasta Mushti Sthiti Visheshakarshana Vimokshana Adi Divyastradi Prayoga Pratipadako Granthaha. That is the much elaborate definition given exclusively on Dhanurveda, meaning on the Dhanu Prayoga itself. Even though Dhanurveda is essentially about all Shastras and all Astras, this definition is specifically talking about what is it involved in the very Dhanur, the archery itself. Dhanurvedo Nama, Dhanuhu, Hasta, the hand, Mushti, the fist. How do you have to hold it first? So Dhanur Hasta Mushti Sthiti Vishesha Akarshana. Akarshana is pulling the string. The what is it called? The string only, right? So Vishesha Akarshana, Vimokshana, leaving the string so that you are releasing the arrow. Vishesha Akarshana, Vimokshana, Divyastra, Divya Prayoga Pratipadako Granthaha. So not only about, so first thing is about Dhanurveda is, he should be able to even hold the bow properly, correctly, at the center, strongly, and then be able to pull the jya. Huh?
प्रत्यंचा
Huh?
प्रत्यंचा बोलते हैं वो जो स्ट्रिंग है, that is all called प्रत्यंचा.
Pratyancha, Pratyancha, okay. In Sanskrit it is typically jya, they say jya. In Rudra Namakam also, jya, in the very first Anuvakam, that jya comes. In which mantra? Vikramji or Radesh, anyone remembers? Jya, jya, there is a mantra there. So it's about. Huh?
I'm doing my Anushtaram, so I cannot,
No, please continue.
Yeah. So, Jayat, when you say Jayat, you mean that one?
No, Jya, Jyaa, Jya. That is the name of the string. And in the first Anuvakam of Namakam, Pramuncha Dhanvanastvanam Ubhayor Ratniyor Jyam.
Okay, Jam, yeah.
So from Ubhayaha, Ubhayoho, from both the ends, tie the Jyam.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he says, it is already tied. The Bhakta is saying, the Rishi is saying, oh, I'm afraid of your Pinaka Dhanu.
Yeah.
Please release that. I don't even want to have you the jaw tied, because then you might start releasing some arrows, and then that might hurt us sometimes, and we are afraid. Please release that and be Shanta.
Yeah.
In Rudra Namakam, that mantra comes.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so that is Jya. So the Jya, Akarshana, Vimokshana. These four activities are important. To be able to hold it strong with a stiff hand, left hand probably, and then a strong fist to hold it so that it doesn't, even when you're pulling it or when you're bending it. See, even a micro degree movement would change the target when it reaches by several feet or several meters sometimes, right? As the distance, we know the sector. It might be a small angle at the center, but the arc of the sector will be very wide based on the length of the radius. So there should not be absolutely no movement. That means you should have such a strong fist to hold the bow, to hold the dhanu. So that's why it started with Dhanur Hasta Mushti, and then Vishesha Akarshana, to be able to pull the jya all the way as far as you can, and then Vimokshana, leaving it. And then not only that, it is also saying Divyastra, Divya Prayoga Pratipadako Granthaha. And then all the several other astras we all would have heard several times in several serials, if nowhere, or in movies. Brahmastram, Pashupatastram, Agneyastram, Varunastram. So each of these astras are they are not mere material based weaponry, but they are more divya, which means it is to be applied with mantra shakti, with tapas shakti. You should have practiced tapaha of that mantra, and it's only through mantra you can do prayoga of that weaponry. Such a weaponry is called astra. But mere physical metal-based or mere physical material-based weaponry is called shastra. So shastrastra. So in this case, so dhanuhu is the part of the shastra, and then divya astra. When you release, actually the arrow has to be an astra-based one. Which specific astra you are releasing. So divya astra, divya prayoga, and that is why for Karna has that shapa, right? Even though he has learned, he can release it as a shastra, but the effect of the astra is not there because he forgets the mantra. That is the shapa given to him. That means because they realized this fellow is too, too temper-based, too tempered, highly tempered, and so he may not be the right person to apply the astras. See, there should be qualification, eligibility, right? So that story apart. So that is Divyastra, Divya Prayoga Pratipadakaha Granthaha. Pratipadayati, that is, it presents, it proposes, it presents such content. Chakara Itaropaveda Samucharthaha. So in the original shloka, if you say Dhanurvede cha nishtitaha, it says, which means, and he is saying here, Chakara. Why did they put the cha after Dhanurvede cha nishtitaha? It is because when you say cha there, Dhanurveda also, it means he is nishtita in not only Dhanurveda and in other Vedas also. What are they? Kshatriyo Dhanurveda Pradhana iti nirdeshaha. For Kshatriya, Dhanurveda is the Pradhana Veda that one has to know. But in addition to that, a Kshatriya should also know what the other four, what are they? Ayurvedo, Dhanurvedo, Vedo Gandharva evacha, Arthashastram iti proktam, Upaveda Chatushtayam. So there are four Upavedas. They are Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, and Arthashastra. So a Kshatriya should be adequately, abundantly knowledgeable and in all these four Vedas. And Rama is such. And hence it is said as Dhanurvede cha nishtitaha. So that means Rama is perfect in Dhanurveda, Ayurveda, Gandharva Veda, and Arthashastra. Now, what are they? Dhanurvedam we have already seen. Dhanurvedam is Dhanur Hasta Mushti Sthiti Vishesha Karshana Vimokshana Divyastra Divya Prayoga Pratipadaka Grantha. Then what is Ayurveda? This one we should know. So most of us nowadays, coincidentally, my wife is also Ayurveda practitioner. So I hear from her when she consults her clients. Most of us nowadays, we think Ayurveda means it is also another form of allopathy. Just as we think homeopathy is another form of allopathy, Unani is another form of allopathy or medicine. But Ayurveda is not just an equivalent. So, do you have an equivalent of Advil? Do you have an equivalent of whatever, Soframycin? That is not how it will be, right? These are two different systems, two different bases of it. So, Ayurveda, Bahatam Vaidika Dharmanushtana Virodhi Roga Nivartaka Aushadha Pratipadakam. If we can understand this very definition given in this bhashyam of what is Ayurvedam, then we will become so conscious in our living. Then we become so conscious in approaching medicine also. What it says is Ayurveda, Bahatam. Bahatam is an expression of. An expression of what? Vaidika Dharmanushtana Virodhi. So we are given a prescription of Vaidika Dharma Anushtanam, which is most of us, we know it, right? I mean, most of us know it. Most of us must be following it to a certain extent, to some extent. Vaidika Dharma Anushtana Virodhi. When you violate that, when you don't follow the Vaidika Dharma Anushtana, or when you violate it, or when you, what is it called? I'm looking for the other word of violation. When you, what is that? Surpass? No, not surpass. When you violate it, I'm not getting that word.
When
you don't comply with it, correct. When you don't comply with it, right? That is Virodhi. Virodhi, when you don't comply or when you don't follow the Vaidika Dharma Anushtana, then what happens? Roga starts. So in Ayurveda definition or in our Vedic definition, what is Roga? Roga is essentially a result of not following the Dharma Anushtana. If we don't follow the Anushtana, then the resulting consequences is Roga. and we will not see it nowadays till it has manifested as a physical, physical consequence. But it has already started with our Atma, then it went into our Buddhi, then it went into Manas, then it went into Indriyas, and then it goes to the Anga, Shariranga, and then it will start manifesting as whatever, cholesterol, blah, blah, BP, etc., 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 etc. So, most important thing in Ayurveda is following the dharma, Vedic dharma anushtana, where they say, when to get up. They say you have to get up between in the Brahmi Muhurta, and then as soon as you get up, you have to spend some time, sit there, cool down, do some meditation, do some dhyana, recollect all the positive things. That is why first thing we do in the morning, even for a child, because we cannot teach them so much, we say Karagre Vasate Lakshmi. Think positive is the first prescription given in Ayurveda. So Karagre Vasate Lakshmi, Karamadhye Saraswati, Karamole tu Govindaha, Karamole Sthita Gauri, Prabhate Karadarshanam. Don't see anything else. At least first see in your hands some divine, entities such as Lakshmi, Saraswati, Gauri, Govinda, etc., etc. So from there till we sleep, Ramaskandam, Hanumantam, Vainateyam, Vrakodaram, Sheneya Smarin Nityam, Duswapnaha, Tasya Nashyati. So from the time we wake up till the time we go to sleep, we are consciously and constantly reminding ourselves with all positive qualities. Before we eat, again we make an intent and pray. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagno. So if we are able to do all it that way, then Roga should not be there. But for Kshatriyas and others who are into society-based works, there will be certain violations sometimes that there will be some exceptions. In such cases, when Roga manifests, Roga Nivartaka Aushadhadi Pratipadakam. Roga Nivartaka, how to eradicate that or how to get rid of that. Such Aushadha medicines, Pratipadakam. Again, Aushadha means what? An ordinary term equivalent is medicine. And for us, medicine means again a pharmacy-based composition of various chemical powders and acids and alkalines, etc., etc. But in Ayurveda, Aushadham is a Tadhidanta, we say, that means a derived word from Oshadhi. From Oshadhi, of Oshadhi, made of Oshadhi is Aushadham. And what is Oshadhi? Oshadhi are specialized categories of Vanaspati. What is Vanaspati? Vanaspati is a Sasyam. What is Sasyam? Now, an equivalent term in English is plant. So essentially, any plant, herbs, etc., specialized or certain special quality based such herbs are called Oshadhis. And using those Oshadhis, whatever formulae you make is an Aushadhi, Aushadha, and such Aushadhi Pratipadakam Grantham is Ayurveda. Then the next one is, of course, Gandharva Veda. Gandharva Vedo Bharata Shastram Samagana Upayogi. So what is Gandharva Veda? It is the Bharata Shastram, the Bharata Muni written Shastra. It is called Bharata Shastram. And that is essentially an application of Samagana, Samaveda. How to apply the Samaveda knowledge for a Laukika Vyavahara is the Bharata Shastram. So, which is called Gandharva Veda. That is the Samagano Upayogi. Then Arthashastram. Arthashastram, we all know, Chanakyadi Pranitam. There also it says Chanakyadi. Not only Chanakya, there were several others also who were before and after him. But Chanakya has done the best job, like Vyasa did the best job of documenting it in a very categorized, classified order. So Arthashastram Chanakyadi Pranitam. Niti Shastram Karmanusthane Upayogartha Sadhanam. And then there is Niti Shastram also, which is Karma Anushthana Anushtaneshu Upayogyartha Sadhanam. In the Karma Anusthana, the helpful text is called Niti Shastram. Teshu nishtitaha nishthavan. So one who is, perfect in it is such a nishthavan, which is Rama there, it is said. So not only is he Veda Vedanga, which was 4 and 6 there, but then in addition to that, he is also into these 4. The Gandharva, Ayurveda, Gandharva Veda, Gandharva Veda, Dhanurveda, and Arthashastram. Because for a ruler, for a Kshatriya, Arthashastra is very, very important. The economics, right? Because he should be able to run the economy. And that is what is today we are facing problem. And how do we balance calamity-based lack of work with still sufficient reserves of materials to live for the society? That ability to provide that balance is the most important quality of a Kshatriya, and we have such Sukshatriya at least for Bharat now. So that is Dhanurvede cha nishtitaha. So far we have covered Veda, Vedanga, that was 4 and 6, and Upaveda, Dhanurvede cha, when it is said 4 Upavedas, that is 6, 10 and 4, 14. So normally these 14 are what is considered as Chaturdasha Vidyasthanani. At a minimum, everybody across accept our Vedic education into these 14 modules, Chaturdasha Vidyasthanani. But in the next quality, Sarvashastrartha Tattvajnaha, there, as defining that, there are 4 more Upangani that are defined. We will see that also. But before we continue, anyone has any questions, comments? Do you know anything to share?
Mohanji, really quick, I want to share one thing. Okay?
Yes.
You explained the concept of Astra and Shastra, right? Very rightly. There is one Astra which we all should remember, that the mantra that we know already, right? Those who are at least initiated. The Astra is nothing but Gayatri mantra, because it is the Astra against ignorance.
Against?
Ignorance.
Okay, yeah.
Or not knowledge. Basically, when you're seeking knowledge, in Sandhyavandana mantra, it says, you have to give Argyam to Surya Bhagavan, because there are 2 Rakshasas, Mana and Deha, our own body and mind, which are obstacles to obstacles which are obstructing the rising of the sun. That is the symbolic aspect of saying it.
Yes.
But actually, the Astra is our Argyam, which we give in the morning. We actually take Astra as something that you can pass on the vibration to any object. It might be a grass. When in Mahabharata, Arjuna just pulls one grass, or even in Ramayana, Rama pulls one grass. Darba and invokes Brahmastra in it.
Correct.
So it need not be any weapon. It can take. So water is their medium through which you invoke that mantra, and you give that Astra away, actually speaking. So indirectly, the actual meaning, in my opinion, is Gayatri mantra is for gaining knowledge only. You're saying enlighten me, so remove the ignorance. So it is Astra against ignorance in the society. So when we always come back and say, why is people ignorant? Why are they not? Why have they lost this? Because we are not doing enough Gayatri. We are not doing enough Gayatri. That is why there is so much ignorance.
Correct. Yeah. Mandehadi Rakshasa, they say.
Yeah.
So Manaha and Deha are the main Rakshasas for an individual, for a sadhaka's pursuance of the daily duties. For example, daily 6 o'clock we have an Ishaka. And I know Dhirendraji, Shailendraji, Ajayji. Oh my God. I go always at least a few minutes late. I miss the Dhwajaropanam in the morning sometimes, but I see them already every day. So that is the sadhana that they do. By at least that means they should have gotten up by 5:30 to reach there by 6. Perfect sadhana. Yes. So those who have conquered the Mandeha, then they can conquer anybody else, because those are the most internal Rakshasas who have to be won over. Right, good point, Vikramji. Okay, so Veda Vedanga Tatvajna Dhanurvede cha Nishtitaha Sarvashastrartha Tatvajna. Everybody say this shloka with me. Sarvashastrartha Tatvajna Smritiman Pratibhanavan Sarvaloka Priya Sadhu Adinatma Vichakshanaha. Excellent qualities in this shloka. But the first part of it is still to do with the Vedic knowledge, the Vedic knowledge base. And again, when we say 14, don't think they are just 14 texts. They are the 14 buckets of our knowledge systems. In each of the Dhanurveda itself, there are hundreds of texts composed by different rishis for different weaponry, for different shastras, for different astras. Ayurveda itself has Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, Vagbhata, what is it called? Ashtanga, no. Then there is Basavarajiyam. I'm seeing here my wife's textbooks here. So Ayurveda itself has hundreds of texts. Then Gandharva Veda, Bharata Muni Shastram is one. From there we have seen how many it has grown into art forms across the country. Right? We have Bharatanatyam, of course, is the first basis. But from there, that was specialized or localized into every region as so many different art forms. So Gandharva Veda, and then Arthashastram. Arthashastram, again, when we say economics, is not one textbook, right? Even today also we know economics means is not one textbook. So what I'm trying to say is, when we say Chaturdasha, it is not just 14 textbooks or 14 volumes, but it is 14 categories of 14 disciplines of education system, and more now that are coming up here. So Sarva Shastrartha Tatvajna. So far we have seen Veda, Vedanga, Dhanurveda. All of them were related to Vedas. Now the next level is the Shastra. And so what are those Shastras? So Dharma Shastram, Puranam cha, Mimamsa Anvikshiki Tatha. So these are the 4 Shastras, again as in 4 buckets of Shastras or 4 branches of Shastras, where in each one itself will be elaborated into hundreds of other next subdisciplines, and then in each subdiscipline several texts composed or received by different rishis, etc. So what are they for? Dharma Shastram, Puranam, Mimamsa, Anvikshaki. So these are the 4 Shastras. Chatvaryetani Upangani Shastrajna Samprachakshate. That is the iti, that is the shloka. So Dharma Shastram Puranancha Mimamsanvikshike Tatha Chatvaryetani Upangani Shastrajna Samprachakshate. Let us say this also, everybody, so that if it sticks in your tongue or in mind, you can quote it. See, we should be able to quote these shlokas for an authentic presentation of the knowledge. So let's all say this. Dharma Shastram Puranancha Mimamsanvikshiki Tatha Chatvaryetani Upangani Shastrajna Samprachakshate. So Shastrajnaha, Jna is the knower, one who knows Shastras. Samprachakshate, they what do you say? They propose, or they authorize, or they certify. They certify that Chatvari etani, these 4 are called Upangani. What are they? Dharma Shastram, Puranam. So now what is each one of them? Tatra Dharma Shastram Purvakandopa Brahmanam. Purvakanda. In the Vedas, even though it is not really, Purvakanda or Uttarakanda, but whatever is logically put together as karma related activities, that is called as Purva Kanda. And whatever is towards the analytical, intellectual, knowledge based mantras, that is called Uttara Kanda. So Purva Kandopa Brahmanam Dharma Shastram. What is Dharma Shastram? Everything to do with the karma related do's and don'ts. That is Dharma Shastram. So Dharma Shastram Purva Kandopa Brahmanam. Upa Brahmanam. Brahmanam, brute is the verb there, is the dhatu there. Bru means to say. Brahmanam, the one which is saying, jo bol raha hai. Puranam Vedantopa Brahmanam. So Puranam is the Vedanta, the later half of the Vedas, or the summary of the Vedas. The end is what essentially the summary, the final result. So Vedanta Upabrahmanam Puranam. So we should not take Puranam as mere so-called mythology or stories. Ukkati Puranam, they say, right? Those were all such dirty adjectives given. I'm sure if it was given in Telugu, such adjectives were probably given in other regional languages also for our Puranas. But essentially, Puranas were what do you say? Sugar-coated pills of the tough Veda Sara. And that too Vedanta. Whatever is the intellectual essence of Vedas, which is called Vedanta, that is what is mentioned in our Puranas. And how do you present it? If you say, a square plus b square equal to 2abc, what does that mean? But rather, a square plus b square plus 2ab is equal to a plus b whole square. That might mean nothing for an ordinary man who is not even pursuing algebra or anything like that, for quadratic equations. But instead, if you go and tell him that, hey, when you want to, let us say you go to a cane weaver, and he's weaving a box, a cube. To him, you tell, hey, by the way, I've seen you every time you are making these cane cubes. They are not of the same size every time. Why don't you calculate it, that's such that if you put these two together, like in this shape, this is the third resulting big size. That's a very understandable, easily rememberable, and hence never forgettable generation after generation approach of teaching. Just as, for example, in Samskrita Bharati also, right? Sanskritam is taught in millions of universities across the world today also. What differentiates uniquely of Samskrita Bharati? Because Samskrita Bharati does not teach it as Rama. You go to any other university, first thing they will start with is the table of 8x3 matrix, which puts off any student, whether in our schools back in India or in universities, right? So, but that is, if you teach that way, it is of no use. Somebody might get 98%, somebody might get 100%, but he never is applying it in his life to enjoy it. So we should present it in an enjoyable manner. And so in 10 evening classes, we make sure that, people are able to speak it. How do we do that? We never even touch that matrix. We never even present a word called Pullinga or Strilinga or Vibhakti or Sandhi or Samasa, nothing. We just teach in a very funny, enjoyable manner. They feel, without knowing, they don't even realize that, oh, have you learned so much already? That is our presentation style. That is the Hindu way of teaching any intrinsic subject is taught. Yes, a rishi might be doing his research at a very cryptic formulae, experiments-based level. But the way it is presented to the society is in a very lucid, story-based form or symbolic form. So that is what is Puranam. So Puranam, Vedantopa Brahmanam. And then there are two other ones. Nyaya, Mimamsa. In the shloka, it was Mimamsa, Anvikshaki. Anvikshaki means Nyaya Shastram. So Nyaya Mimamshe Sarva Veda Sadharanyau. So Nyaya and Mimamsa. Nyaya is about the logic, the study of the logic. Mimamsa is about analysis, sort of dissective analysis. So there also we have Purva Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa, but that apart. And that is why I said, when each of these 4 also, or the other 14 also, they are not one text by itself. Mimamsa itself is Purva Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa. And then again there is Jaimini based branches and other Rishis based branches. So these are high level buckets for us because we are not getting into that strict scientific study of those scriptures. So Nyaya Mimamse Sarva Vedarana Sadharanyau Tesham Artha Tattvam, the meaning of it, the real understanding it by spirit, not just by word, but by word and spirit. Artha Yathatmyam. Tesham Artha Tattvam means what? Means Artha Yathatmyam. Yathatmyam comes from the word Yatha. Yatha Atmyam. That means as its originality, as its intent, Yatha. Of that Yatha is Yathatmyam. And I keep quoting this, right? The Tattva, Tadhitantam is one concept in Sanskritam. So you derive a word from another word by saying it is of it, it is in it, to say that. Just as we always quote, Dasharatha's son is Dasharathi. Janakaha tasya putri Janaki. Similarly, Yatha Atma. So to make that a noun, Yathatmyam. So Artha Yathatmyam is Artha Tattvam. Nigudashayam ityarthaha. So when we say Artha Yathatmyam, what does it mean? Nigudha Ashayam. Whatever is the original Ashaya, the intent, the vision and the mission of the original scriptures, Nigudham, meaning getting into the minute and the micro level details to understand it thoroughly. Tat janati iti tatha. So when we say Sarva Shastrartha Tattvajna, he has this Nigudha knowledge of the Ashayam of, Dharmam, Dharma Shastram, Puranam, Nyaya, Mimamsa, in addition to Dhanurvede Cha, which means Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, Ayurveda, Arthashastram. Some of us, there are in other places, instead of Gandharva Veda, somebody might put Sthapatyam, Sthapatya Veda also. And hence we said, these Vedas are not, even though we quote it by certain number, that's only at a high level, tagged, high level tags, but the details are not innumerable in number. So by Veda Vedanga Tattvajna, Dhanurvede cha Nishtitaha, Sarva Shastrartha Tattvajna, with these 3 qualities, we have built, or we have recollected, studied, and understood the revelation of the Vedic education system. The umbrella of the Vedic education system, that is the Hindu education system, coming from the most ancient days even till today. In fact, even today it seems there are several manuscripts. Krishna Shastri Ji, one of the founder Pracharaks of Samskrita Bharati, he's quoted several times, and that is why he has started his Sanskrit Promotion Foundation, where he's trying to build resources, both financial resources to support the research projects, to digitize all these millions of manuscripts. He says, he quoted there were 4.5 million manuscripts still spread across the Bharat and certain other countries like Java, etc., where these manuscripts are still there.
Yeah.
And every manuscript is valuable for us in order not to lose it. If we can digitize it, then one of our Karyakarta called Sai Susarla, Swayamsevak and Samskrita Bharati Karyakarta, went back to India. He's a PhD in computer science. He now meaning about 5 years or 3 years back, he has taken over the position of the Dean of MIT School of Vedic Sciences. MIT is the institute in Pune. It started for computer science when I was doing my BE back in 86-90. I think probably they started in 84 offering computer science, and then slowly it expanded into all other engineering disciplines. But when Sai Susarla happened to meet the president of that MIT, education board, they were interested in, pursuing or in offering Vedic sciences, Vedic studies. But unfortunately, you need the right faculty, right administrator to set things together. So he took over the position of Dean of Vedic School of Vedic Sciences, and he said MA Sanskritam etc. is offered everywhere as a mere Me Too kind of a approach, but let us provide an MA and certificate courses, diploma courses, etc., which get into the real inner view of our Vedic studies than an outer view. And I talked about this when I said, and if any one of you have not yet seen my post on Facebook, I've posted that Hindu University of America's a course offered called Orientation to Hindu Studies. It's $300 course. It's like to sponsor it, just take that course. Like $300 course. It'll be 2 classes a week or 1 class a week, I think, running over 1 hour. They will cover various aspects of how to study Hindu studies academically. And then they say how today in academics Hinduism is seen as. And so there they have drawn a matrix. They say there is an inner view, an external view, an internal view and an external view. Most of the academics today on Hinduism, on Hindutva, Hinduism, etc., is an external view. An internal view is essentially a believer's view, a practitioner's view, a practitioner's knowledge, which is our Shankaracharyas, our Acharyas, our Gurukula Pithadipatis, etc. But their teachings is never an academic study. There is no degree for it, right? But the degrees are all given by non-practitioners, non-believers, and mostly antagonists of Hinduism. So that is the external view. And what is that external view? Long back in 1700s or 1600s, starting from Max Muller, etc., missionaries were sent to India to study the people in how to, from their point of view, how to rule India, how to rule Bharat. So to rule Bharat, what does it require? Does it require machinery, ammunition, guns, laws? What is required to get them under control? And I used to say this, right? Even in my childhood, I remember, Pantlang Gottal Gadra, they used to say in Telugu. Pant is called Pantlam. Trousers are called Pantlam. And they say Pantlam is 2 tubes, because 2 legs are essentially 2 tubes. 2 tube fillere. They used to ridicule anybody wearing pants like that in our villages, because wearing dhoti is a grand thing and is a convenient thing and is an easy thing. Wearing pants is, what is this, man? They used to ridicule. Such was the society. As long as our society was so confident of themselves, of their culture, British could not rule them. Why British? Even such barbarous Islamic rulers also could not rule us. And so British were thinking how to rule them. And so they have sent these missionaries. And whatever were their chronicles of touring India, of meeting our Pandits, of meeting our kings, of meeting our village heads, etc., whatever is their finding fault view based chronicles or gazettes has slowly become the texts. So essentially what happened, one missionary comes, he meets certain people, or one in the name of an officer, right? A missionary in the name of officer. He comes, he meets certain people, he interviews them. He thinks, hey, these guys are not wearing pants. So for him, just as for us, when they were wearing pants, we ridiculed them. For him, just because we don't wear a pant, he thinks we are, uncultured. So he writes in his chronicle, oh, these are uncultured people. They don't even have a proper dress. So this gadget, when he goes back, he presents it to another 10 officers or 100 other missionaries in that church or in that parliament or wherever. So now 100 more people have studied it. And so now each one of them, they go back to their church and they present it there for the missionaries who are going to be sent back to India. So such more copies of these gazettes were made, and they ended up to be textbooks for us, unfortunately. The reason I'm saying this is the external view, which is unfortunately today part of the academics. We need to bring back our inner view as the academic basis, which means an authority is a Shankaracharya. If Shankaracharya gives you a PhD, yes, then that is an authentic PhD, because he's a practitioner, he's a believer, he's a knowledgeable person. Similarly, a Gurukula teacher, if he makes you a 12-year course, somebody who was taken in a Gurukula, he should be given a high school, what high school? He should be given a bachelor's degree, right? Such thing we have to make. And in order to make that, we need several Hindu universities of America, of India, of, etc., etc., etc. And so for that sake, if we all can take that course, Hindu orientation to Hindu studies at the least, we would have supported Hindu University of America with another $300 from our pocket. But also we get this light of how is academics, what is the problem with the current academics about Hindu studies. Pop out from the stack. So that inner view based studies is these 18 Vidyasthanani, 4 Vedas, 6 Vedangas, 4 Upavedas, and 4 Upangani. Put together, Ashtadasha Vidyasthanani. And then some more details are given here. Sankhya Yoga Tarka Purvottara Mimamsa Sutrani are also additional branches. Now you will start counting beyond 18 also. But Sankhya Yoga, that forms our fundamental philosophical intellectual approach to sciences, to especially the macro sciences, which is what is this universe, who am I, how is this created, why am I affected, why am I inflicted, why am I happy. To understand all that is called Sankhya Yoga. Tarka is the debate is what is a colloquial term, but essentially Tarka is about analyzing why is it this way, why not this way, and to arrive at a logical conclusion which can be accepted by any logical person. That is the Tarka Shastra. And Purva Uttara Mimamsa. Mimamsa is about analysis. Purva Uttara Mimamsa. Sankhyayana Shastrani. Smrutayascha, Upasmrutayascha, Tatvartha Shashakatvat Shastram. So this term Shastra, why is that term called, why is that name called Shastra? Shasakatvat Shastram. Shashakatvam means to be able to rule, or what do you say? Rule is not the right word. To be able to Shasana. In Hindi, we understand Shasana as administration. It is similar thing. So it dictates you. Dictate not as a dictatorial thing, but essentially
Leads you.
be able to command you.
Leads you? I think that's it.
Leads you. Leads you. Yeah, leads you is a very, euphemistic way to say it. Yeah, it is. It is in a way commanding you. It is directing you. It is
Equivalent of saying how you teach something to your child in a very, it's, no means no, or yes, do this or do that. The way a parent would say it to a child is what is Shashanam.
right. Shasana.
Yeah, it is kind, also firm, but at the same time, it's not giving away. There's a balance. So Shasanam is the balanced way of doing it.
Correct. So Shashakatvat, because of its ability of Shasana, Shashakatvam, it is called Shastra. So Shastra is able to command the knowledge and hence the direction to every individual, to the society, to the world. And why? Because of all this knowledge in it, inherent knowledge in it. And so Kamandakadani api niti shastrani sarvesham artha tattvajnah sarva shastra artha tattvajnah. So far we have covered in about oh my God, it's 8:28 again. So we took 2 sessions to understand and study the Vedic knowledge, Vedic umbrella of education system. Thanks to Rama, thanks to Valmiki, thanks to the 3 Bhashyakaras, Shiromani and Gira.
Thanks to you.
No, that's okay. But I'm only a microphone here, right? Though the content is coming from them. Thanks to all of them that at least we today, now at least, so let's all make this attempt to be able to quote this proudly, grandly, gladly. When we say Veda, don't think, it is, whoever have that negative perception in our Kishores or even in our Tarun, young Taruns also, who might not have this perspective towards our education system, let's educate them. Hey, no man, at least spend some 1 hour to know what those branches are, what each one of them is providing it, and why is it needed, why is it relevant even today, right? And how Rama was one such stalwart in all of those education, in all of those fields of discipline. And hence, only now if we see, why do we remember Rama even today? There must be something special about him, right? And this speciality is this. If not for any other goodness, etc. qualities, he is all hands on in all these studies of the Vedic system. So Veda Vedanga Tattvajna, at least if we know these 3 qualities, can we all say this? Veda Vedanga Tattvajna, unmute. Let's all say it so that we can, it's like a Veda Vedanga Tattvajna. Manurvede Nishtitaha Sarva Shastrartha Tattvajna. These 3 qualities, it is, if we know, we would have covered all the disciplines of our Vedic system. So let's remember it is these 3 qualities. Well, quickly at a high level, the next 2 qualities are Smritiman, Pratibhanavan. The details of the definitions, etc., we'll get into in the next session. But Smriti is to do with the Smarana. And there is another part of Smriti also. We'll get into it when we define there. But Smritiman. So, knower of it doesn't mean that, I studied thermodynamics in my first year. I did, in fact. Right? In my first semester, we studied a subject called thermodynamics. I don't remember even one concept of it. I only remember Java, Pascal, DBMS, operating systems, compiler construction, digital electronics, because these were all related to my computer engineering field. But I had to study other subjects also. Of instrumentation was another subject. Oh my, full of theory there. Thermodynamics. I had engineering drawing 1, 2, engineering mathematics 1, 2. All the subjects were there. I don't remember them. Have I studied it? Yes, I have studied them. So when we say Sarva Shastrartha Tattvajna, he has studied it. But he is qualifying. Narada is immediately qualifying by saying he's not like Bhogarao Pappu, who has just studied them but doesn't remember it anymore. No, Smritiman. he remembers them. He not only has studied them, but he has not studied them in vain to forget them, but to apply, to remember them. And pratibhanavan. Pratibha. Pratibha is, bha is light. Pratibha is exposed. Prati is towards. Dhanyavada, prati dhanyavada. Arpanam, samarpanam, prati arpanam. So towards, so pratibha, he is a light which is focused on others, on us. So his light is not just within himself, it is also exposed to us. Pratibha. Pratibha anavan. Anam is face, ananam. So pratibha anavan. His face is such that it reflects this knowledge that he has remembered as Smritiman of Veda Vedanga Tattvajnaha, Dhanurvede Chanishthitaha, Sarvashastrartha Tattvajnaha. So it's all linked qualities that are being put in that order. Initially, he is Veda Vedanga Tattvajnaha, then Dhanurvede Chanishthitaha, then Sarvashastrartha Tattvajnaha, and not only is he Jna, which means Janati, but Smritiman remembers them. Pratibhanavan reflects it. Reflects it means what? Applies it. He's able to apply all that knowledge to make sure the society is much better, to the nation is much better, the world is much better, and so to apply it in all of those principles, to apply all those principles for the society. Such a man is such a great person is Sri Rama. 8:34. Formally, we'll stop it with our Shanti Mantra, and then we can, like always, continue the discussion. Who will say? Sumir, you say the Shanti Mantra. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah.
No, I don't know fully. I'm sorry.
Okay. Who will say? I'm seeing here. Suprabhaji, aap hi boli.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः
सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः
सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः
सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु
सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु
मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्
मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति.
So I'll stop recording here. We can continue our discussion.